What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? It's your boy Luis, also known as Luisifer. Shameless plug just out of the blue, just about right now. I just released a zine with 32 illustrations, so go pick that up. Go on my Instagram page at Luisifer likes to draw. Anyways, today's guests are Bass Rotten, a band based in Portugal, a very young band. And today is a special episode because we have not only one guest, we have two guests. So Bass Rotten is a grindcore band with very strong hardcore and power violence and thrashy influences. These guys hit me up and they were like, yo, we're a fresh ass band from Portugal. And I was like, yo, I just listened to your shit. And yes, you are. Let's make this happen. So during this episode, we talk about their new album entitled Surge. There's a very high level of musicianship in Portugal, and they start plugging a bunch of bands, which you should definitely check out. One other thing, the sound quality isn't the best sound quality in the world because my boys in Bass Rotten were not using a microphone. Since they were two people, we thought that micless was the way to go. So please bear with us. And without further ado, here's my conversation with João and Rui from Bass Rotten. Enjoy. João, Rui, welcome to the Disgusting Subway Rat podcast. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for inviting us, Luis.
Thank you, Luis.
I mean, for accepting our push to invite us.
Well, hey, I mean, I really appreciate that because usually it's me approaching the guests just because this is a new thing for me. I'm still fresh in this, but it felt nice to receive an email from you guys wanting to be on. So it was very flattering. Thank you.
What's this? Your sixth or seventh show? Is it?
This, I believe, this might be the 10th because I still have a couple of episodes that haven't been released. I like to do these in advance.
Okay. Nice.
Excellent.
So you see, we saw you had you've had Will Butler from To Live a Lie there, and he's he's releasing our record, and we follow him on social networks, and we realize there's a podcast about sort of grindish music, and it's just in our neighboring country. So it's let's give it a try. Send this guy an email, and then we realize that you're in teething, right?
Correct. Yeah, I sing in teething.
Yeah, which we've been following for a while.
Yeah.
We thought to give it a try, give it a shot.
Yeah, of course.
Working. So
hey,
thanks.
No, of course. Thank you guys for hitting me up because I remember you hit me up maybe a month or two ago, and I told you guys I was taking it easy. I just like to do maybe an episode or two a month. I don't want to self-inflict too much stress, but I like that you guys hit me up again a week or two ago. Persistent. I felt like you guys weren't just spamming everybody, you actually followed through. So fuck yeah, man. So let me do a brief introduction on you guys.
Sure.
Bass Rotten, I feel is a grindcore band with strong power violence and thrash influences.
Yeah, but be careful with the gatekeeping, right?
Exactly. No gatekeeping on the Subway Rat podcast. All good.
All right.
And man, whoever plays the guitar, like fucking rips, man.
That's me, man.
Oh, excellent, dude. Excellent. And so I believe you guys are you're a young band from Portugal. From what I've gathered, began in 2016, 2017, something like that.
Yeah, late 2016. That's it.
Okay. So
early 2017, perhaps.
Excellent. We're gonna get into everything Bass Rotten, your new album, and everything. But before that, I start off all of my episodes with what I believe is the most important question of them all. So, João, Rui, I want both of you to tell me if you prefer sweet or salty food.
Food.
Yeah, do you prefer sweet or salty food?
I prefer salty food.
Okay.
Yeah, salty. Yeah, salty.
Okay, do you guys have a dish of choice?
I mean, I like snacks, like peanuts, and I guess our traditional bacalhau is pretty salty and pretty enjoyable.
Okay, is there for bacalhau, which is very very, very, very typical Portuguese dish, is there a good, what's your favorite spot to get this in your hometown, like, or maybe your mom cooks or your grandma, or there's this
basically everyone cooks, but how do you say, codfish in Portugal. So there's a lot of places where you can have a good meal, a good codfish meal. So, but I don't know, there's a tiny place like close here to João's house, which is Tia Natércia.
Yeah,
it's just such a small place that she only has like one group of people at the time, but it's her specialty, the codfish on the oven, and I don't know, a bunch of codfish dishes that she has, and that's a nice place. It's really tiny,
and
really small.
What's this place called?
Tia Natércia, which means
Natércia.
Yeah, Tia Natércia, which means Tia means aunt, like your aunt.
And Natércia
is just a name, like an old school name, Portuguese name.
Dude, that sounds like the ideal place, very authentic. So shout out to this fucking place. And
so you don't. Yeah, so you're making it look like there's publicity on this show, right? We're sponsored by this restaurant nearby.
exactly, man. And
yeah, but do come to this particular part of town. It's part of old town Lisbon called Alfama, and I would say 80% of the restaurants here are pretty authentic and great. Especially now where the tourist traps closed because there are no tourists, because of the pandemic. So the ones that remain are the good ones. So do come.
Excellent. So yeah, shout out to fucking codfish in Lisbon. So guys, can you please introduce yourselves and tell me what's your role in the band?
Yep, I'll let Rui go.
Yeah, sure. I'm Rui. I'm the bass player, also in the back vocals of the band, and that's it, I guess. There's a lot more stuff that we do, but that's the main thing.
I'll introduce him. He was in a bunch of sort of grungy, sludgy bands before joining us. He listened mostly to doom metal or whatever it was, the Melvins or stuff like that, and he used to play in a band with our drummer. So me and the drummer initially started the band. And this was for our drummer. This was the second band. His first band was with Rui here, and we eventually needed a bass player. We were trying to find one that was already into fast stuff. We couldn't, so we got Rui here, who fell in love with it, and is now pretty much leading the logistics and the composition of the band. So he's a talented guy. As for myself, I was I started by playing. I guess I started as a teenager, so it was a bit of a mix. I started playing the guitar, then it was really a bit fuzzy what we played. It was a bit thrash, but we couldn't play fast enough to make it sound like thrash. So it was a bit like at moments sounded a bit like Crowbar or this sort of sludgy sort of bands that play thrash but not fast enough. And it was also drop tune. Eventually I moved from my hometown, which is in the south of the country, the Algarve. I moved to Lisbon, and because of studies and I also traveled a whole bunch. I lived in Holland and in Italy. I never managed to have a band, and around 2010 came back to Portugal. The neo-crust scene was thriving. So I was in a couple of bands playing the bass, and then I was at that point the drummer of Bass Rotten came to live with me, and he was pushing me to start to. He already played in a band, and he was pushing me to get back on the guitar and make something faster than what he was doing in this sort of sludgy doom band. So so this idea kept brewing over the years, and in early 2017 we had a full formation of musicians. We're mostly people from I think almost all of us are from the same town in the south of Portugal, even though we all live in Lisbon.
Okay, what's that town called?
Well, it's a town called Portimão. It's very near Lagos, which is a bit more famous.
Okay.
And there are a couple of other bands that you may take note of from those two towns. There's Praise of Sanity. They play really tight thrash. Mm-hmm. They come from they started up in the wave of pizza trash, the municipal waste, toxic Holocaust thing, and they're extremely tight. They're really very high quality. I think they missed. What they'll be missing is a label or a producer that would take them further, that would take them on tours and stuff like that, because they're really bands like Municipal Waste have nothing on them, or Angelos Apatria have nothing on them, or Crysex. It's just that when they started, they played in a couple of festivals in the United States, and then it somehow just they just didn't become international. They played in Wacken in 2015, and then it's sort of didn't go much further. But they released. They keep releasing really excellent albums.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And they'll be dropping, and they're basically in the biggest Portuguese label, which is it's great, but it's Portugal, right?
What's this Portuguese label you're talking about?
It's called Rastillo.
Okay, yeah.
It translates to Blowfuse, I think, and it's for heavy music. It's probably the largest, but that doesn't mean much, I think.
Yeah.
And then there's another one called Urubu, which is struggling with lineup changes. They're also great. They're old school hardcore punk, American hardcore punk in the vein of Black Flag and this sort of stuff, Circle Jerks. A particularity about them is that they have the singer is from Brazil, sings and there's a lot of Brazilian influence in it, the way they compose it. I think one of the guitar players at the point was Brazilian as well. So yeah, check them out.
Very cool. And how old are you guys?
Yeah, that's.
I'm the youngest man alive. That's the thing.
Ever.
Can we skip this one?
No,
yeah,
no.
yeah. But the band's about 4 years old.
Okay.
3 years old, right?
Okay. But
and I mean, we span our youngest the youngest member is let's say that in the band there are members from age 22 to 37.
okay, very cool. So it's it's a variety of ages. All right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we're all young in our minds.
Before we start, also we're gonna continue talking about Bass Rodden, but I want to know how COVID has affected the band, because first time I heard about the band was during COVID, which isn't usually the case. So how has the band affected COVID?
Yeah. Well.
Oh, sorry. How has COVID affected the band?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hopefully we will affect it too, but the thing is
By spreading
it in shows. Well, talking about it, like, definitely affected us because we're mostly a live band. We have been discreet somehow, but we've been playing live all of this time, including like touring in Europe. So, and this year, what it actually affected us is we wanted to release the album a little bit sooner, but with all of these things, it just kind of got delayed in terms of production-wise and whatever. But finally, we released it, and if we could say that it affects us, is in the terms that we are not able to go do a tour right now to promote the album. So that's the main affliction, I would say, like, for a band. Like,
we started the band. I mean, we started the band and immediately. I mean, we were rehearsing a couple, sometimes 3 times, rehearsing 2 or 3 times a week. So we got ready for playing live shows really quick. So we also the initial process of composition was also really fast. So we started doing shows very quick. In late 2017, we were already doing a small, we call it a European tour because we did Spain and France. Yeah. But yeah, it was a week on the road. We got the taste of it. So and in late 2019, we did something like 20 shows all the way to Hamburg in Germany. So Prague. Also Prague and the Czech Republic. I mean, it's the furthest we've went. We played in Madrid actually a couple of times. You're based in Madrid, right?
Correct. Yeah, I'm based in Madrid. I saw you guys played at least twice, right?
Yeah, we once we played in a big festival with sort of even big names, well, relatively big names in the underground, like Horse Bastard, and the other time was in that was in 2017, and it was an afternoon show and on a Sunday. We couldn't. I mean, it'd be difficult to play later because the Varhookers were playing that evening.
Oh, wow.
So the guy from Tarsius
Tarsier, I believe that's the name. Yeah.
Yes.
Set us up. And
in Mammoth,
and the guys from Mammoth, we played with them and Bad Grinder Spencer. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but anyhow, I'm diverging. So it was easy to play live. Just we're musicians. We set up our instruments and we play. Now. Recording and releasing an album is a whole different thing. It's a whole different animal, right? You, especially when you want to sort of be low cost. So you end up talking to a friend who's happy to help you and record you, but then he's stuck up at work and he can't you can't produce it. Then you end up calling another friend who's also a producer. Then you're we had a little experience in studio, so we didn't know exactly what to do. There were a bunch of hindrances, which ended up in us only being able to release the album this year. And it was already so late to release it that we decided not to wait for the end of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Another way that it hit us is, of course, we can't play live shows to promote it. We would definitely be doing a tour now if it wasn't for the pandemic. One other thing is that me and Rui here, we sort of help out, we sort of we can call it a promoter. We promote shows in a local venue here. Yeah. It's a social center, and so we serve as a connection.
Sorry, what's this place called? You promote?
It's called Disgraça. It's called Disgraça.
Okay.
And
yeah, I've been there. Excellent place.
You have?
Yeah, we've
with teething.
Yeah, we've played there with teething.
Yeah, it keeps improving. It's now. Its growth was pretty much parallel to the growth of the band, and it's sort of. I would say that we in Bathrotten fed a lot on the growth of Disgraça. So as this sort of venue starts establishing itself, we get the international community coming to us, right? So we get to meet people, we get to know how things work. So we get to learn how to then do them ourselves. So
yeah,
we help bands set up things. We know what bands need, and then we know what to ask for when we go and travel, right?
Exactly. I think that's key in bands like us. Just like It's not only about what's convenient for us. Like, we also book other bands. We let other bands sleep over at our places. We make food.
Yeah, exactly.
We that's what it's all about, and you learn a lot from that, and then you make friends. You eventually organically build a network of contacts, and I'm sure that was very helpful for you guys in order to tour Europe.
Yeah, it helped us a lot in booking shows, actually, from meeting people on these places and bands that we've booked, or João, because João does it more than me, booked here. Then we establish that connection, and then they help us out booking shows over there, whatever the country.
I would say half of the shows that we've played abroad were set up by people who we'd helped when they came here. So there was sort of an exchange thing. And the other half was, we also traveled for festivals and stuff abroad. I'd often go to the Jungla Fest in Barcelona. I don't know if you heard of it. It's a punk fest, and I think it's a squatted zoo or something. They were evicted last year, but I used to go there and meet lots of people. Also the Bloodshed Fest, sometime in the Netherlands. I'd meet people there. This year we went together to something new called the Black Denim Fest, and also in the Netherlands with
in Rotterdam. Yeah,
in Rotterdam and then you meet people there, and you kind of change contacts and get to. It's for a band that hadn't released anything but a demo until now. It was important to have to meet people and to establish some confidence with people.
Exactly.
This reminded me of about how we let people sleep at our houses and vice versa.
Yeah.
This reminded me of something that this guy Nico from Bones Brigades.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Yeah, he put on a picture of a bunch of sweaty people sleeping on sleeper bags.
Was that Coke Bust? I think.
I know who it was, but it was. We were all very familiar with that. People sleeping in sleeping bags on the floor, crammed up together, and the caption was, "I miss the good life." and Indeed, it's not comfortable, but it's really fun. And when you asked about our favorite food earlier in the show, I was thinking that, I mean, I think nine of 10 times in every venue that we play, we're served spaghetti with chili, right?
Yeah, something spaghetti with tomato sauce or chili with rice. Yeah, it's the dish. That's our favorite dish.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's what bands, DIY touring bands get, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what we ate in Disgrasa when we played there.
That's what you would have.
Oh, but actually, they cook very well in Disgrasa. They have like cool food there, nice food there.
For sure, so. and it's very accommodating. There's just like sofas. Everyone is drinking or eating. Yeah, it's just a chill, nice vibe. I also recall the bookstore that's next to the place, which is very cool as well.
And has been growing. Yeah.
There's a full library, and that comes from. I mean, they integrated an old anarchist library from the early in the century. I mean, I think they have some of the collections they have there more than maybe 100 years old, right? Wow. And that's one floor. There's the bookstore, which is new. There's a free shop. I mean, the whole thing, right? It's quite big, and it's not actually squatted. They need to pay the rent. And of course, this is the problem with and it's an expensive rent. I think it's more than 1,000 euros a month. Oh, wow. I think probably it's 1,500. And the shows were, of course, a good part of the
recipe.
Yeah,
the income.
The income, yeah. So, and how has been teething affected by the pandemic also?
Like all of us, our favorite part of this is playing live shows, right? And we play as much as we want, and a lot of us had tours booked or whatever, but none of us are like full-on touring bands, right? It's pretty much like our big main hobby. So like, unfortunately, it's affected me like where it must be very horrible living with me, just because like I feel like I need a stage dive, And so my girlfriend is getting on her nerves, and but we were teething. We just recorded like 22 songs, I believe. We went to the studio to record just a bunch of songs for a bunch of new releases, which we're gonna release throughout 2021. And I don't know, we've kind of had to switch it up. We're thinking about, because usually in the past, you release a record and you hit the road, but now we have to think of new ways of keeping ourselves entertained. So we're thinking about possibly, I think the whole strategy now is going to be like every 2-3 months, maybe make a music video and release a very limited 7-inch and release a t-shirt that accompanies the music video. We're just doing whatever. I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but it'll keep us entertained since we can't.
I guess more bands are gonna do it too.
I mean, we're doing sort of that thing ourselves, except for we still haven't figured out how to record and release quick, but we've been keeping ourselves busy with the promotion of what we have just released. So things that what we do is we'd release it, hit the road, and then sell the records to the people at the shows and the t-shirts and designs and etc. Because we're reaching out to people that we would usually not reach out. So we're talking to, we sent a bunch of records and t-shirts to Washington State, United States of America, and we're trying to contact people in Indonesia, Malaysia, Japan, to try to get to them, because if the internet is now the way we can show our music and sort of do things, then we're not limited to what's closer to us, right, to Europe or whatever. And let's see if basically we're shooting in all directions now. We have a bunch of like you will. We have a bunch of new designs for our merch. We also reached out to different artists to draw things for us. I mean, like in exchange for records and stuff like that. So now we have an asset that we can trade. It's really it's really something new for us to have this and to have it physically with us, because it's now something real. We don't need to perform it to be real. There's a recording of it, which is it's a pretty nice feeling, and has helped us to keep our morals up in this pandemic.
Yeah, sure.
We also have. I think we have enough songs ready for an EP, so something like 12 minutes or so.
7 each, at least. Yeah.
But if we go to a studio now, it will. This time we want to have every detail ready before we go to the studio, because
and make it quicker. Yeah.
Because we didn't know that much about the process before, and you watch videos of Metallica with Bob Rock, the producer, the sixth Metallica guy, and of course they have millions or thousands or hundreds of thousands, I don't know, to spend on a studio, and so they go there and they're composing and changing the songs as they record them, and they do a lot of test takes and stuff like that. If we're projecting it into our own reality, the guy who's helping you is not Bob Rock. He's not getting paid 100,000 euros a month or whatever. He got off work and he has maybe 3 or 4 hours to help you out.
Yeah.
So you should get to the studio with well rehearsed consolidated tracks if you want to. If you want to be fast and cheap, and so that's what we'll be trying to do as soon as we finish promoting this album.
Awesome. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, well, it's a lot of work, and a lot of this. Playing is a blast, and being on tours is a blast. That's why we love it. But the whole process of getting to there, it's a lot of grinding. It's a lot of
no pun intended.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot of this sort of work. I personally enjoy it to a level, but to get to play a song a little bit faster, to get to play it tight, that's all right. But for example, I guess you're familiar with that as well.
Oh yeah.
We received 500 LPs. They came in the wrong boxes, so they came in the wrong covers.
Oh shit.
The press plant.
This is a true story.
Yeah, they came in the covers of a grunge. No, what was it?
I don't know, some Irish
pop band called Pugwash.
No
and
way.
So we had to physically.
So wait. Let me. The covers were wrong, but the records were right.
Exactly.
Yeah, in a sleeves too. So we had to.
They were all packed, shrink wrapped already.
Yeah, also shrink wrapped,
which is not a good thing to do when you're sending.
Usually, when you send records, you should send, and you know this, right? You send the records outside the covers, otherwise they'll damage the covers. They didn't do that. So many of the, it's no problem that they damage the Pugwash covers, but we have printed. We have printed inner sleeves, and it damaged a little bit.
Yeah, some of them
they were damaged a little bit. Can you pass? You want to?
Oh yeah.
So the records come inside one of these, right?
Right.
and as the record wobbles or it sort of rips the cover a little bit. So anyhow, we had to take all of these records out and repackage them in the new covers that arrives 2 weeks later. Also, there's a lot of being on the phone and explaining what's happening to a guy in the Czech Republic that speaks broken English. It's
I'm aware of this. It's one of the few pressing plants in Europe. That one in Czech Republic. So,
oh, is it?
So you guys, okay. So before we continue, I want to rewind a little bit, which is as we were mentioning before. Usually, this must be like my 10th episode. Usually, I'll approach my guests, but you guys were very cool approaching me, which I felt very flattered by, and a couple of things stood out to me. First one was I checked out the record right away, and the record was killer. The production, it's I always say it, and so does everyone in teething. The level of bands in Portugal is much higher than it's really high, especially much higher than the one in Spain, which is not difficult, but I can mention a lot of great Portuguese bands, and every time teething is played in Portugal, like the bands that we're playing with fucking are great. So that's one thing. I love the record. I've been listening to it on loop. I'll eventually pick up the LP. And the other thing that there's two more other things that captured my attention. In the nice email you guys sent me, it said for fans of Spaz, Integrity, and here's where it surprised me. It said Teething, which is my band, and it said All Pigs Must Die, Implore, Black Breath, Violent Frustration, and Gulch. The only band, I love all of these bands. The only one I'm not familiar with is Violent Frustration, which I'll check out. But so that was very, that felt very nice to see my band mentioned there, you know? So,
well,
thank you for that.
We're under the impression that your band's famous, man. But I mean, it's you know what happens is that there's this. I mean, let's say there's this. You can sort of separate the bands into the ethos of the true grindcore bands that are often more often have more gorish themes,
right?
And they're 100% blast beats, skunk beats. Here I'm thinking about bands like Archagathus or Agathocles and etc. And then there's, I mean, it's now becoming fun at this point, which is the ones that incorporate breakdowns, incorporate other parts that are called false grind, right?
Right.
That's something that has been used to us too. So when we say that we can't promote ourselves by because of gatekeeping, we can't promote ourselves by saying that we play grindcore. So we try we try to find similar bands that are also, you know, very fast. You can't call it thrash metal. You can't call it crust punk. You can't call it, you know. We for a while we called ourselves thrashcore. We sometimes still do. But people think of Suicidal Tendencies or I know DRI when they think of thrashcore. So yeah, it's the only thing about teething that is that's sometimes a bit confusing is the Teeth Grinder, the Dutch band. That sometimes you think, you know, when I booked Teeth Grinding or tried to book the Teeth Grinding in Disgracia, they said, but they were here not so long ago, and I'm like, no, those are teething, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but. Definitely. I mean, how do you the four fans of how do you do this for teething?
next year it's gonna be. We've almost been around for 10 years. So it's, but even though I still feel like we're a young band, we're doing the same thing we've always done since day one, which is grinding it out, playing wherever we can play, you know, playing with great bands, just eating great food, you know, and like and hanging out with cool people. So usually, wait, did you guys freeze up on me? Whoop! And we froze up. So here's a little interlude because the guys from Bass Rotten froze up on me, or I froze up on them. I don't know. Anyways, back to our conversation. Sorry, I started recording late, so we miss a couple of minutes of our conversation. Man, there's so many good Portuguese bands. Even I have here just a list of bands that we've played with that are Portuguese and we love. Like, I've seen you're good friends with Manferior. We've played with them. They're great. Nihilistic Bastard, there's Borf, there's Atentado, Vaito Joder, I think. And then
we're all good friends with all of them.
Yeah, and then there was We Are the Damned, Besta, and so forth. And we
like in many places, they're the very creative people that are behind these bands, like Besta and We Are the Damned are
basically the same people behind the band. Same guitar player, the same writer. Nihilistic Bastard and Manferior are basically the same people also.
So what about let me cut you off. I have a question. Like, I feel like a lot of these bands, some of these bands I mentioned are from like a previous generation, so maybe they're older. And have they been like cool with you guys? Are they welcoming, or they what's your experience with them? Because here in Spain there's like
generation gap.
There might be a generation gap, and sometimes you feel very welcomed by certain bands, and then there's like sort of there's like a distance between other bands.
I guess I never felt like we were not welcome in some way. I guess like most people that we talk to, even like guys like Grog, like I remember watching like Grog in the TV when I was a kid. Like I was like 12 years old or 13 years old. And all of these years forward, like I was talking to the singer, and there was no distance keeping on that matter. So they were welcoming, and they even give us some shout outs on this album like lately. So
great. I think that's
personally, I never felt, I don't recall any time that we were not welcomed by any band being older or newer.
My personal feeling is that there was a period of 5 to 6 years. Maybe it's just my impression, where there weren't many venues. There was not much going on. Even for the older bands, they didn't have places to play or events to be invited to. So everyone, the younger and the new, felt very happy everyone's very happy when new bands pop up.
Exactly. I feel it's very important that we're all welcoming with each other, because we just, in order for this not to die, there needs to be younger and younger people. You can't all be 30, 40-year-olds, you know. There needs to be new waves of 16, 17-year-old, 18-year-old boys and girls.
And it keeps it fresh. It keeps it even for older guys. I guess it would give some more energy, some more enthusiasm by seeing new kids doing things differently. So I'm getting some new ideas also, and seeing the scene alive itself, right? It's good seeing that it's not a decaying, dying thing. It's still alive, maybe in some different way, but it's still alive, and that's good.
Exactly. So
I think there's I mean, this reminds me a bit of. I mean, it's also that you end up knowing your local scene. I mean, we're talking about Portugal as if it's a single scene, but there's a bit the Porto scene and the Lisbon scene, and then there's in between. And for example, Manfiri are from in between. But I think, for example, for grindcore, the new kids are mostly in Porto.
Yeah,
there's this band Bacali Lobotomy, and I mean they have a bunch of side projects, Noise Grind, and there's Gorgasmico Pornoblastoma, which still retains an old school sort of gore grind name. But they're all very young people that are probably the future of the scene.
that's great. And going back to that initial email we were talking about, where you guys sent me your album, you told me this was fans of, and then the other thing that caught my eye was your link with Will and To Live a Lie, because this new album, Surge, is partially co-released by Will and To Live a Lie, if I'm correct. Can you tell me how that relationship started?
That was also sure. It was also a cold call. We had the album ready, and we sent him a Bandcamp link, and he was happy to participate. We're actually really surprised.
Yeah,
this because you record something, you don't have much feedback. Of course, your mates will try to support you, your local labels will try to support you, but to have, I mean, he answered immediately. Yeah, I'm down for this, and he immediately was down for. I know. In the end, I think he'll get 100 copies, but it was. I mean, this guy, it's he's. I mean, this is where you want to, as a young, fast band. It's the label that you want, right? It's
for sure.
The guy works his ass off, and he has a great roster. So it was. I mean, there's no big story about it. Maybe a more interesting or dramatic story is that we sent him. In early November, we sent him all the records in registered email and registered mail and express mail, and because the official release date was the 20th of November, and wanted to do a pre-sales and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But it hasn't. Until today, it hadn't arrived yet. So today we had to send him a second package. Basically, the package delivery service lost our package.
Wow! So over 100 records.
We initially send only 50.
Yeah, the initial one was 50. Yeah.
So he'll get 50 now, and hopefully when he clear this thing up with this was Chrono Post. It's called Zahler in Spain, by the way. If you want to shit talk them. Yeah. It's
COVID, man. It's COVID.
Yeah, I guess it's COVID.
It's COVID.
By the way, we're also being released by a label in Spain.
Hecatombe, right? Okay, yeah. Good guy, Pedro.
From Granada, or is it Almeria? It's Almeria.
From Almeria, and do you guys know Pedro and Hecatombe and his whole crew? Do you know them in person or just through emails?
Do we? No,
I don't. I guess it was kind of like Will, just a call, in cold call, and
it's. But this, I mean, I'm picking up these subjects to talk about things that I feel like need to be talked about. It's you talked about Portuguese bands, not. I mean, let's say you start up a band in say Leipzig. It's immediately you get. I mean, you have a fast track to a touring circuit, right?
Yeah.
So this motivates the band. You get feedback really quick. You get to know other musicians. You can even mix up members of bands and get a new, better one, whatever. If let's say if you're in Leiria, halfway between Porto and Lisbon, like Manferier are, the circuit's much more complicated. You need to drive a lot to. Let's say you play in Porto and Lisbon, then you want to play in another town. Guess you can go to Vigo or Coruña, but maybe you don't know people there. Maybe there's no active venue having. I know. Is there something in Vigo that hosts shows every week?
Not currently. A Coruña, fortunately, has that place Nave. 13.
Yeah, but Nave is closed now. Well, closed definitely, isn't it? So there's, of course, there's Hector, who booked us when we were there, and that was great. Then I think there's another place near Coruña which is more punkish. It's called, what's it called? I don't know. It was some sort of mystic name, and I think Coruña is still up. Then I guess you'd have to travel all the way to the Basque Country.
Right.
Then there's not much in the south of France. There is, and I'll get. There's of course in Bordeaux. There's Void. There's Les Enfants Sauvages in Toulouse. Again, these are minimum 5 hours drives to go play to different audiences. And I guess you get that too, right? In Madrid.
Correct. Yeah, we have a similar experience because, we're as you said, maybe if you're living in Leipzig or somewhere in Germany or somewhere in Netherlands, you can go north, east, west, south. It's a bit the routing is easier. We are more like at the bottom of the map, right? We have
exactly.
We're like the black sheep, but that just means we have to work harder. So
exactly. So I would, do you know that France and Spain are the two largest countries in let's say the European Union. So we used to say that to get to Europe, you have to cross the two largest countries, because you feel like you're once you get to say Frankfurt, or then okay, the next venue is at 1 hour drive. The one next is, you can sleep, you can hang out with people, you can properly rest, and it's even easier because if you can't book, you're trying to book a DIY show, and if you can't book in Leipzig, you book in Weimar, which is really close, and if you can't do it in Weimar, there's Berlin also very nearby. So if you're trying to come from, let's say, for a touring band that wants to cross Spain and come to live in Lisbon, if they can't book in Barcelona or say in San Sebastian or in Madrid,
right?
They'll have to take a day off just driving, and it's more complicated. And I was picking up the subject of there being crews in Almeria, and I was also talking to a guy from Granada. And because the circuit is usually either through the center of Madrid and then Barcelona. We also played in Salamanca, but the guys who could book us there, they call themselves the bike punks. It's a couple called Mariles and Fernando, and they used to liven up the scene in Salamanca, right? But they moved to Toulouse. It became too dull, and there's Antonio that has this big festival in Palencia, which is also very convenient.
What festival?
Do you know this? How's it called? Brutólogos.
Yeah, in Valencia.
okay. Brutólogos, yes. That wait. Have you guys played there?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Is this the guy the guy that plays in Rato Raro?
Yeah, that is.
Rato Raro.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. I personally don't like this guy.
Okay. we don't know him enough. I mean, he was friendly with us.
He was nice to us.
Was
yeah.
he? What that like? Did he take care of you guys properly?
Yeah, quite nicely. Yeah.
Okay,
Us and the bands like Menfear was there too, and some other bands crashed over his place like us. So it was nice.
The festival, I would say we ended up playing with these bands that, I mean, they play faster blast beats than us, so it was so they
were true grindcore bands, like the Disturbance Project and Hernia.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't recall the other ones, but
so every time that we go and play in a like in the Czech Republic, we go and play in a place like with real grindcore bands, and we play. I know there's blast beats in our songs, but maybe they don't. This T-shirt, it says real blast beats are from 220 to 300 beats per minute, and maybe we just barely reached 220, right? So I remember I think there was this Italian guy from it was called something Dogs, right?
Oh, Rabbit Dogs.
Rabbit Dogs.
Yeah, exactly. I always confuse them with the Varano Dogs, right?
Yeah. But it was Rabbit Dogs. Yeah, they play there too.
And and the drummer's warming up for 1 hour just with his drumsticks to be able to reach the speeds that he needs for his songs. And okay, maybe that was a little bit frustrating to be sort. Yeah, you're. Thanks for playing, but you're a hardcore band, not a grindcore band. All right, but we.
But for us, it's a lot. Yeah, it doesn't matter actually.
And what I was saying, of course, there's routes through the center of the peninsula. You can do the long route through the Galicia and the Basque Country, but I don't. I think never a band arrives in Lisbon coming from the ones that we booked. They never say, yeah, right, we traveled to Valencia and then to Almeria, Granada, Seville, something in the south of Portugal, and then we were in Lisbon. They're always like, we came from Madrid or we took a day off and tomorrow we'll play in Aguarda or something. It's
right.
So the south is, and it would be really nice to have a connection with these guys from the south, Pedro and I just met the other guy from Granada. He also plays in a grindcore band.
Convulsions, probably.
It's not Convulsion.
Torso. Well, there's a small crew of
if there's a crew, we can do something, right?
That's what I was getting at. I'm sure once COVID fades away, Pedro and his whole crew will gladly have you guys there, and it's always a blast.
But it's not just for us. I mean, me and Rui, we're really interested in I mean, what we're trying to do is not just having a band; is to liven up, to make this sort of to make the thing grow in our surroundings, and to be part, and it's
basically to have a scene,
to have a scene, to have a scene grow, not just 10 people, but to, let's say, that PLF, I think Pulverizing Little Brutality, I think they did a tour. I don't know if it was already within COVID and they cancelled or not, but I think they were not even coming. I mean, they were doing south of France, but not coming to the peninsula. And I guess that's often because there are no promoters and no circuit. And if we can create something that is that's easy to access, then we can get to have more bands playing here, and then make the scene grow. By the way, in Madrid, you have this Wurlitzer ballroom, right? Which is a bit the small size.
It's Wurlitzer ballroom. It's not it's more like a regular venue in the center of the city, which is pretty cool. It's not like a DIY spot or anything.
But, exactly. But that's what I want to ask you. I know the Wurlitzer ballroom, and with signed bands. I mean, Magruder Grind played there, for example, or like more established bands play there. But what's the one? And when we played there, it was always sort of an exception. One was sort of a squatted warehouse, very far from the center. That's when I played with Horse Bastard and a couple of other bands. And the other one was in a radio. Was also not in the center of Madrid. Was in an actual radio studio for a radio.
Yeah, that's the thing. That all of the like sort of like DIY spots they come and go, and they're usually in the outskirts of Madrid.
Right. They come and go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's not. Yeah, they come and go every 2 or 3 years, and as do promoters.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's it seems to be the life cycle of this thing. Yeah. That's the main thing about this whole situation. Like, we wonder what venues are gonna last after this. So that's the main question, more than how's the band being affected, because the bands can still go on somehow, just write some stuff and release stuff. But after this, where are we going to play? Like,
I know.
Do we still have venues? Because it's getting a little bit struggling for all businesses. Imagine then, like some of these venues that don't really make money at this time.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know in some countries, squatting is probably not allowed, but it can occur. So those places, I guess, if they don't have to pay a rent, they can sort of survive. But for example, in Portugal, I mean, there are squats, but they're very secret, and I mean, they try not to have those many concerts. I guess we've played in a bunch of squats, and usually they're very far from Lisbon, and they're more like countryside, really countryside. And I mean, they have plantations and stuff like that. But places in the center, they pay a rent, and I know that Void in Bordeaux is in trouble.
Yes.
I know that Boom in Leeds is in trouble.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of any problems with the German venues, but of course, if you have to pay a rent and you're closed, it's a problem. Let's see what happens after this. And it's also you mentioned the promoters. The promoters come and go. We get this when we often get very driven promoters that are also very young and not very good at it, and often they're studying, or they're still in a situation where they don't have a 9-to-5, right?
Yeah.
And often when they start needing actual money from a job, they drop the whole promotion thing. So it's the same here.
Yeah, that's it's exactly, that's usually the case. I don't know, I feel like we've been playing Portugal since the band began, and we've seen generations of promoters, like it's every 2-3 years.
Yeah.
I think it's logical,
Tell me do you remember where you played and who booked you?
In Lisbon, the first time we played was at a big club with Monarch. You know this band, Monarch?
Yeah, sure.
Monarch and Atentado.
Yeah, I was there. But who contacted you? Were you on tour with Monarch?
No. There was who contacted us? I think the thing was we were playing Oporto the day before at this like really cool. Was it RCA club possibly?
Yeah, it's called RCA. It was. I think it was. You played in the inauguration of that place.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
it was the very first concert that ever took place there.
Yeah, it was fucking sick, man. It was such a cool
Must have been 2014, 15. They're in trouble too. That's a commercial venue actually, and it's. I guess it's the equivalent to the Wurlitzer ballroom. It's like, I think it has a capacity of 200 people or something, but it's really cool.
That's not the place we played. The place we played was underground, and it was fuck. I can't remember, but that's not because it definitely didn't fit 200 people. It was I think it only lasted a couple of months, that place. They also used to do like expos. I'm not sure, but the promoters, the guys that booked that were Ruins Records, which Pedro later went on to open Black Mamba and stuff like that. The vegan record store.
Yeah.
And
Dude,
so he put us in contact. Yeah.
Ruins Records was one of the best. I mean, and booking was one of the best things to happen to music in Portugal. It was it was about 10 years ago, and they had. I mean, they're good friends with the Lisbon guys, the DIY booking, and they managed to bring so many cool bands to here. They all ended up going to. I mean, the guys from DIY booking in Portugal, in Lisbon, ended up founding Disgraça, the venue that you played later. The guys in Porto, one became a sort. How you call it? It's called Planet something, I think.
Planet Core, I think.
Planet Core, that's it. Yeah.
And they
Planet Core,
yeah. And they lend. I mean, they have a bunch of vans. They do. I mean, they support tours. They have runners working for them. It's become relatively big.
Right. Yeah, that's Vitor, because Ruins Records was two guys, Vitor and Pedro. So Vitor went to go.
Pedro.
They both went to go run their own businesses. I guess just adult life, right? And,
Pedro Agra. That's usually we call him Agra because his family name. He's he runs a vegetarian restaurant / record store.
Yeah, with his wonderful girlfriend, and they unfortunately I don't know. Obviously, this place had to shut down, and
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. So and they're. Yeah, Agra is a great friend, and it's just seeing what the next step is. But I think I don't know. I don't want to get it too much in their business here on the podcast. But I think they're not looking to reopen Black Mamba, I believe.
Okay. Well, yeah. I'll be sure to drop him a line and ask him.
Yeah.
There've been new generations, and then every new thing that occurs, like every new venue or every new booker, every new there are kids that are kids when they go to their shows, and then they get inspired and they start up their own thing. So in Porto, there's the sort of booking relatively. I mean, bands of the size of Teething and that sort of level was picked up by a guy. I mean, like for example, the guy who brought Implore the last time they came here. A guy called Miguel from
Corrosion Bookings. Yeah, great guy. He helps us a lot. Great supporter of Teething. Yeah.
But that's all in Porto. Here in Lisbon, the thing. I mean, this venue, this Disgraça, has been a big anchor because you don't. It's so streamlined that you don't even really need a promoter, you contact the venue directly, and because they have, I mean, they have sleeping quarters, they have a kitchen, they can lend pretty much. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say this, and bands shouldn't try to do this, but let's say if you arrive here and you bring only yourselves, you don't bring instruments, you don't bring anything, you still be able to play.
Yeah,
because they have their own stuff.
There's a backline, yeah, but of course,
there's a proper
a lot of bands like to travel with their own backline, but in case
and they
for
should,
whatever.
They should. But it made it so easy that actually I don't think they're aside from us who. I mean, what we basically do is just the connection between the bands and the venue. There are not many. I don't think there's any particular promotion agent for relatively small bands or medium-sized bands here in Lisbon. But it's okay because you can contact directly the venue. For if you're in a bit more commercial, there's this place RCA where Monarch played. I don't know if it was with
that's
you.
Where I'm pretty sure that's where we played. It was
that place. I mean, maybe it can't fit 200, but you know, it has 2 floors, right? There's the underground.
You're right. I was getting
confused.
confused. Yeah, that's definitely where we played. I got confused.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, that's a fully 100% commercial place. These places, as you know, live off cover band concerts, right?
Right. Yeah.
Does this happen also in Spain? I mean,
I'm not aware. I'm to tell you the truth. I'm so stuck in my hardcore bubble. I don't really know what goes around me, but I see posters and flyers everywhere for cover bands. So
we also don't. But I can see if you look at this at their schedule of events, it's like 4 in every 5 concerts they have there is a tribute band.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And they get. I mean, it's completely surprising to me because I'm not really into cover bands, but it pays their bills. I mean, the people pay to go there and go. We'll watch a band playing. I'm dressing up like Nirvana and playing Nirvana.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, that's just how the world works, right? It's like cinema as well. If you go to the movie theaters, the movies they're going to be playing, they're not going to be the greatest, you know. But that's what people want to see, just like cover bands.
Yeah.
It's kind of strange, though.
It is.
I mean, I think it's there is this. How you call it? The embarrassing side of every heavy metal hardcore commercial venue is that they have to book tribute bands, and even the musicians. I mean, you know, you'd say my job is I don't have a day job 9 to 5. I'm a musician, but often if you're saying this, I mean, at least here. Yeah, indeed, you may have a couple of band that play your original music, but where you get your money from is from covering other bands. So for the commercial places, the embarrassing side of it is that you play in that you support yourself by having cover bands. The embarrassing side of the DIY spots. This here in Lisbon, in the center, is that they're pretty much sponsored by the in Lisbon, and I guess a bit everywhere. Of the sort of counterculture scene and everything is that you get these Erasmus students and foreign exchange students, and they like these sort of cheap vegetarian meals and to hang out in a place so it's.
He's talking about desgraça.
I'm talking about every place in Lisbon. Like every social center. There's also RDA, RDA. There's Zona Franca. There's Anjos 70. There's, I mean, every single one. I mean, even Casa Viva in Porto. Every single one of these sort of anarchist places ends up making their money from selling meals to foreign exchange students. It's
Wow. Yeah.
it's fine, but there's sort of a. I mean, if you need to pay rent, you need to get it from somewhere. But I think it's funny that there's this I guess they'd prefer to have 100% punk place, but it just
you gotta pay the bills.
Just to pay the bills.
Exactly. Unfortunately, at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do in order to sustain the place.
Yeah.
Whether and cooking a vegetarian meal doesn't sound too bad,
Yeah.
And it's really cheap.
Yeah, there you go. So guys, I think we're coming close to the end of our conversation. So is there anything else before I asked my last question? Is there anything else you want to talk about, whether it's anything Bathrotten has on the horizon, or
first, well, maybe a list. Maybe 3 important things. First of all, check us out. There'll be new merch soon. I think for now we are concentrating on what we release now, and definitely please check out our social media and etc.
Yeah, you guys are doing a great job. I think you guys are doing a great job.
Thanks.
First of all, the most important thing is you're backing everything. I see a lot of hard work behind the band, which is why I wanted to have you guys on, but especially because you back it with a good product, which is a great record, and took the time to release it on vinyl, through good labels. And I know sometimes it's a struggle, and you guys are making it happen. You're getting the word out, and
what happens is that you need both. You need grinding and you need a good product. You need a good. I mean, it's no use if what you have to show is crap. But it's also no use if you have a great record and you don't put an effort to produce it well, to have a good sound, and to get to people.
And to release it on
which takes me to my next question. So next question. No, the next point that I want to make. There are really a bunch of great Portuguese bands that you should check out. Okay. That could earn a listen, or someone picking them up for an interview or for a review, because they put all their effort in recording a great thing, but are then not reaching out like we did. So I would like to give this sort of shout out to a band called Narcomancer. They're in Porto, and they're absolutely brilliant, and they're not and I don't think they're known.
Narcomancer for sure. I'll shout out to Narcomancer.
There's Manferior, of course, that toured with us. They released an album, but basically they're burning their CDs themselves, and the guy is an artsman, so he's actually cutting up the cardboards for the. Every CD that's sold is maybe a 1 hour job for him.
They're basically handmade. Like he did the screen printing on all of the sleeves or the CD, so he does everything. So that's a lot of work put into that. But Manfurier, other ones like
I would
Warp,
say
maybe.
I would say here in Lisbon, please check out a new band called Nagasaki Sunrise.
Oh, yeah.
Nagasaki Sunrise, right.
And Nagasaki Sunrise, they play. By the way, I guess did we say? First thing, Narcomancer play first wave black metal. So it's like it's a bit like Hellhammer, Venom, stuff like that.
Okay.
It's definitely brilliant. The guitar player used to play in Misanthropia, which was basically they spread out and sort of stopped the band when they were at ready to blow up. And then that's Narcomancer, Manferior. What they play? It's also
call it sludge violence, something between power violence, grind, and sludge.
Yeah, it's a bit like what we play. It's a bit in between.
More dark,
but it's darker. Yeah. And from Lisbon there's Nagasaki Sunrise, who play Japanese D-beat. So it's very interesting.
We have a lot of great guitar work, a lot of great guitar. The leads are awesome. Yeah, it's the best guitar player in the world. That guy.
The guy.
All right.
For sure, no problem in that.
Okay, so that was shout out to Narcomancer, Nagasaki Sunrise, and did you say
Manferior?
Manferior. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. And there's a bunch more we could say. Yeah, there's a bunch more but
Borf is great. Borf is great.
How do you get?
Yeah, Borf.
How do you get to know Borf?
Because we played with Borf at last time we played Oporto, and super cool guys. The singer of Borf has always been at all of the teething shows every time we've played, and he's always up front like fucking moshing and
his voice, man, the guy's a fucking beast. He sounds like the guy in Kickback. He's really angry shout. The reason why I was asking this is that unfortunately, and I think this is the problem with Portuguese bands, bad marketing. If you go check them out, and they have a badly recorded demo on Bandcamp, and I know for sure that for more than 1 year, they have a really excellent recording of a proper album, but it's not. They didn't put it on Bandcamp yet, and I mean it blows every competition away. It's really something else. But I guess I can take the example of Borf. A couple of days ago, I talked to a label owner, and I said you should bet on Borf because they'll be the next big thing. And he said, yeah, I checked them out, but from what I've seen in their Bandcamp, the band needs to put out something a bit higher quality so that the label can reach out to them. So I know maybe this will happen soon. I think there's really a lot of quality, and I think if there would be a thriving scene with where bands would help out each other to do what they need to become more well known, it'd be easier. But this way, I know labels need to. Either bands need to contact labels with the best thing they have, or labels may contact bands and ask for something a little bit more well produced.
I think it's both.
Yeah, I guess both.
Bands should put on the effort.
Meet themselves halfway.
And labels should, I know it's hard, but should put on the effort to discover new bands and demand a little bit of them also. But also with an open mind, and see that sometimes bands don't have the means to get a higher quality record somehow, but the potential is there. So I don't know, it's that.
For sure, and
I guess we gotta help out.
Yeah, and
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and if not, you can just release the record yourself or start your own label, or.
Yeah, that would be an even better idea.
So.
Yeah. Also, back to your question, you should definitely check out our album Search, which is actually mostly the main theme, if there's a theme, or the most common theme is about actually grinding it out and overcoming adversity. So like ironically, it all comes together on this struggle to make it happen and doing stuff, even though with all of the difficulties that we have, and most bands have also. So it's kind of nice. It becomes quite conceptual that way. But you can listen to the album on Bandcamp, Spotify, YouTube. There's a lot of digital platforms where you can listen to the album, and it's still available on LP in vinyl. In most of our labels, I guess. Some of them have sold out, and tape is sold out at the moment, but you still can get the vinyl.
If you want formats, I mean, first try to contact your local, for example, in Spain, try to contact Hecatomb, or in the USA to Live a Lie. In America, you can get Aim Downside Records. If you want to get the vinyl, if you want to get tapes or CDs, contact us. We ran out of the first the first edition of the tapes. We still have some couple left, probably for ourselves. But there'll definitely be a second edition of the tapes, and there'll be a CD release in January. So do contact us if you'd want it in a different format.
Excellent. We're also prepping some new merch designs, coming up with some new stuff, and should release them soon. And
dude, let's do something. I mean, if you're up to this, if you're down to this, let's do something together soon, like
for sure,
mini tour, something.
For sure, let's
yeah, we're close.
Yeah, of course, we'd love to, and we'd love to, maybe, there's so many things we can do. We're neighbors. We can help each other with shows. We can do a tour for sure. Let's
do definitely. I think the underground scenes of Portugal and Spain, I think it's a bit geography, because there's a whole desert. I mean, I don't want to offend people, and I don't know which cities are in between the border of Portugal and Madrid, right?
But it's a desert. It's basically a desert.
So the guys from the north are well connected to the guys in Galicia, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
I think this is the first time we talk, Luis. So it's that's a shame, of course. But we need to make these bridges happen. So I think it'll be good for everyone.
For sure. No, guys, and thanks so much for being on the Subway Rap podcast. And I think you guys are doing a great job. I hope you keep going strong, because a lot of times great bands come and go, but I feel like there's a flame in there, and I feel like you guys still have lots of years left in you.
Dude, we're the thing is that this we're not one of these bands that was just one guy that looked for a guitar player. We've been friends forever. So we still, even in the pandemic, when we're not writing music and doing stuff, we're just hanging out as friends. So we'll keep on. By the way, and regarding the future, and regarding something that's happening today as this is being recorded, because I realize this is not live, is it?
Exactly. No, I record it, and I'll eventually upload it in the next couple of weeks.
And that they're at simultaneous to this, they're doing this pre-promotion of the Global Grindcore Alliance thing.
Yes, correct. Right. Is it going on right now?
Yeah, dude.
I guess they're gonna have like some.
We're missing it. We're missing it now. And you're playing next week, right?
Correct. Well, it's not live exactly. It's already been recorded,
Okay.
So our part is already recorded. I must confess though that there wasn't a lot of work put into our set. It's just the recording of a show we played several months prior to the whole COVID situation. So we just edited together a show. So it's not as elaborate as a lot of these other bands that like actually got in the studio and got a proper sound and stuff.
But I'm so stoked about this. We're talking to these guys from Japan about it. It's fucking Global Grindcore Alliance. So the pandemic worked out for having a 5-continent show.
Yeah.
It's you'll have Japan, which are from Nepal. They live in London. I think there's Meth Leopard from Australia, from Brazil. I think it's Test, which we love.
I think Rot also. That's the thing. Like some things, like with this whole situation, some new things are coming up which are quite exciting, and even like Global Grindcore Alliance. It shows like there's some health in grindcore going on. There's some life in it. Yes, and it's coming up with new things and even maybe bigger things. So we're quite excited. I think we're not missing it. I think it only starts like in an hour or two or something like that. Because I spoke to I don't know how to pronounce his name. She's this. I don't know how to say his name. The guy from Japan.
Exactly.
But I guess they're just starting at 7, so it's 6 here in Portugal. So we're still on time.
Now, your last question.
Oh, my last question is, so I'm a big horror movie fan. I don't know if you guys enjoy horror films.
Yeah, I do. He does.
Okay, so do
you're in the right country. I mean, the best movie, the best films in, at least at a point, the best films, the best horror films were coming from Spain, right? Like Rec and.
I don't think so. No, we've never been as strong as like Italy with horror or anything. There are a couple of horror. France had some really good stuff at some point, but
but Spain has too. Yeah.
France, you mean Gaspar Noé stuff or something else?
It's not really horror.
Well, yeah, but it's not really. Gaspar Noé is not really. It is horror in a way, not in the conventional sense, but there is that sense of you watch his movies and it's like suffering anxiety, you know.
Yeah, I'm saying things like I Spit in Your Grave, isn't it his?
Spit in Your Grave, I'm pretty sure is an American film, but when I met France, like in the mid 2000s, there was all of these movies like High Tension, Martyrs, Inside, and stuff like that.
High Tension, yeah.
Like for a while there was something boiling up there in France.
Yeah. Really at the point I was watching a lot of French movies, but they're more like exploitation movies, like revenge flicks. There's this one called Baise-moi. Have you seen it?
Yeah, that's very hardcore.
That's really it's porn level hardcore.
Yeah. Okay, so there any movies you want to shout out? Like that was a good example, Baise-moi.
Well, one of my favorite movies, which you can call horror in a sense, maybe probably like a Western Tarantino type horror movie. Okay. It's from a guy called forgot his name, but
is it Craig?
The movie it's Bone Tomahawk with Kurt Russell and a few other known guys.
Kurt Russell is in it?
Kurt Russell is in it. So
this is an excellent movie. I really like this director.
By the way, that's the name of a single from Manferior.
It's also a song from Manferior. Yeah, but I think that director is Craig R or Z. How do you call it?
Yeah, Craig Zahler.
Zahler. It's that Craig R. Zahler. Yeah, something like that. I do enjoy his movies.
That's a great shout out. That's a great shout out because he later went on to do Brawl in Cell Block 99.
With Vince Vaughn, love that movie too.
And Dragged Across Concrete. All great films. Looking forward to what he has to do in the future. For sure. Good shout out.
Yeah, if it's my turn, I would say I don't watch those many horror films, but I don't know if this counts. I mean, I like more revenge flicks.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, and so do watch Mandy.
Mandy,
best. It's from a guy called Panos something Apollos, I guess from Greek background. He only did two films, right? Was it The Color Out of Space, or was it?
I don't know if The Color Out of Space is from
Behind the Black Rainbow.
That's it.
Behind the Black Rainbow.
Yeah, he did Behind the Black Rainbow.
And then maybe with the great Nicolas Cage, our favorite actor.
Yeah, we do love Nicolas Cage. By the way, he just today. No, it was yesterday. He got into a fight with Vince Neil from Motley Crue, which we also love. They got into it was middle of the day. It was recorded. So check it out.
Shit,
it's really-
definitely. It's gonna be
It's fine.
okay. So the
Nicolas
highlights
Cage.
of today are Nicolas Cage fight and grindcore.
Drunken fight with Vince Neil from Motley Crue. That's like the best split ever.
By the way, do you know that there's a band called Cage Fury or something like that? Cage Rage.
No. Cage Grind Noir.
Yeah, and it's 100% every song, and they have 3 albums or so.
Maybe.
They're really great, really tight grindcore music, and each song is the name of a Nicolas Cage movie and features samples. I mean long ass samples of Nicolas Cage, losing his
It's
shit.
great. Yeah.
Dude, this sounds
like a modern grindcore. Yeah, but it's great.
And what's the name of this band?
Cage, and then Grind
Cage Grind.
Noir, like
okay.
the movies, like
Right.
yeah.
I think this is a high way to end our conversation, guys. Thank you once again so much.
Wait, please.
Sorry.
I want to say if there's
Yeah,
I mean,
go for it.
we talked about talking about the local scene. There's a weird guy here in Portugal who's tried to who's done a lot in his life. He was the first Portuguese hacker when he was like 13 or something, and he made music and became a movie director. He made a movie called "I Will See You in My Dreams." I'll See You in My Dreams, a zombie movie. I mean, it's a short. I think it takes 15 minutes. So if you want to check out Portuguese horror, it's as I Will See You in My Dreams.
I Will See You in My Dreams. 20 minutes short. Hell yeah, man!
Yeah.
I'll definitely look into this. This sounds like my cup of tea.
I would say brilliant first and second act. A bit, the third act is a bit disappointing, but I mean, it's okay.
Well, actually, just let me give him some more shout outs, especially to Spanish movies that I really enjoy. Like one that it's called Mientras. Sorry for my pronunciation in Spanish, but
No
I
problem.
think it's called While You Sleep, which is Mientras Duermes.
Exactly.
I think that's a movie, like a thriller kind of movie.
Yeah.
Love that movie. Also, The Orphanage, which is really good. Like
The Orphanage. Okay.
almost a classic by now.
Yeah, Dia de la Bestia is one of my favorites.
Oh fuck yeah, Dia de la Bestia, man. That's that's one of my all-time favorite Spanish films. But all of those you guys mentioned are great. So João, Rui, thank you so much once again. Okay.
Thank you, Luis.
You guys enjoy the rest of your evening watching Grindcore Alliance with your beer. All right.
All right.
I'm gonna have myself some pizza. Guys, take care.
All right.
Look, man, I don't need that kind of shit. What are we gonna do?
We're gonna wait.
Wait for what?
That was prime cuts off Bass Rotten's latest full-length album entitled Surge. That's the third track, and in my opinion, one of the better tracks. Fucking riffage, man. Anyways, thank you for tuning in. If you liked this episode and if you like my show, please spread the word. Like, subscribe, rate, Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, whatever the fuck. And next week, we'll be back with my friend Michal of the band Shians and Ghetto. So I'll see you then. And thank you for tuning in once again. Bye-bye.